Hello, everyone. Welcome to another movie review. I am happy that you can join me today. So, at the time that I am recording this, it is Saturday, June 7th. And let me say this I don't watch everything Tyler Perry makes. Last month, a series called She the People premiered on Netflix. And after he released the World War II movie 6888, he released another film that I believe premiered on Amazon Prime. So, what made me decide to check out Straw was the marketing campaign. I heard about it, I read a few articles about it, so I knew that Tyler Perry made another film with Taraji P. Henson. So, let's get into the review. Straw is considered to be a thriller. It stars Taraji P. Henson, Sherry Shepherd, and Tiana Taylor. It was released on Netflix Friday, June 6th, and the running time is 1 hour 45 minutes. So this is a simple, straightforward story. Taraji P. Henson plays Janiyah Wilkinson, a working-class single mother of a sick daughter. And in Act 1, you are following Janiyah, learning what her daily routine looks like. She leaves for work. There is a homeless guy in a wheelchair, played by Sinbad the comedian, who asks her for change. She gives him the change, even though she cannot afford to give him any money. She runs into her landlady, who is threatening to evict her because she is behind in the rent. Her daughter needs lunch money for school, but she doesn't have the money. She heads to her job where she works as a cashier at a grocery store. Her boss is verbally abusive. She gets a phone call from her daughter's school because the authorities think that her daughter is not being taken care of. While she is on her way to the school, she gets a traffic ticket for her expired license. When she gets to the school, she finds out that her daughter will be placed into foster care. What makes the day extraordinary, because the entire movie takes place in one day, when she gets back to her job, she gets fired due to her bad attendance and her absences. So while she is there, the boss gets robbed by two thieves at gunpoint. Janiyah fights off the gunmen and she mentally snaps. A misunderstanding takes place. She runs to the bank across the street to cash her check. She is unaware that she is still holding on to the thief's gun, so she threatens the bank teller to cash her check. And she only wants the money she is owed. She doesn't want to rob the bank. And the situation gets blown out of proportion to the point where the bank manager, Nicole, played by Sherry Shepherd, has to intervene. Also, eventually, the police and the feds get involved. And when the police tries to figure out what is going on, the only person who guessed right is Officer Raymond, played by Tiana Taylor. And so Act 2 and Act 3 pretty much takes place inside the bank. There is a surprising plot twist in Act 3 that you don't see coming, because Tyler Perry has a habit of not dropping breadcrumbs in his movies. So when there is a twist, it can really throw you off. All right, I'm going to give this movie 3.5 out of 5 stars. And based on how people feel about Tyler Perry's movies, I know some people are going to complain that my grade is too high. And since the title of this post is Tyler Perry is the next Shakespeare, some people are going to call me crazy. So stay with me here, okay? I'm going to explain what I mean. If you focus on the movies, forget the plays, forget the shows. Tyler Perry directed, wrote, and produced, including Straw. He made 28 movies. He made 3 movies last year alone, and he is on track to making 3 more this year. Straw makes the second film of 2025, And later on, he is scheduled to make a new movie, Medea's Destination Wedding. When I was studying Shakespeare to write and direct my first stage play, I found out that some Shakespeare scholars felt that Shakespeare's problem was he wrote too much too quickly. So that explains why some plays are considered problematic and there are a few that are considered to be his best work. But in the course of the 20 plus years of Shakespeare working in the theater, he wrote 36 to 38 plays. Therefore, on average, Shakespeare wrote one play every 6 months. Now, Tyler Perry's critics do have valid points. I agree that he needs screenwriters who can do a better job writing than he can. I think he is good at producing. I think he is an okay director. And he is a writer who works quickly, and he seems not to have the time to give his scripts the development and care that they deserve. So that's what I mean when I say Perry is similar to Shakespeare. Now, most audiences like a drama that simmers. They like breadcrumbs that are placed in clever spots throughout the film. Tyler doesn't do that. While other filmmakers boil their water in a pot over a gas stove, Tyler boils his water in the microwave. And his critics also complain he is melodramatic and he tells way too many stories about black women struggling. But this leads to my next point. What separates Straw from his previous movies is, I think, this is a commentary on how stress and poverty impacts someone's psyche and how it affects someone's ability to grieve. Now, if you haven't seen it yet, I won't give the plot twist away in the end. But Janaya is in a mental state of an alternate reality. When you watch Act 1, you see the real Janaya. And the real Janaya is a person getting bullied by life. Before I became a film critic, I used to work at a welfare office here in New York City for 9 years. And I can tell you, society doesn't want to tolerate poor people. And if you notice in the movie, there is no talk about Janaya collecting welfare. And based on my past experience, because she is working 2 jobs, she is not eligible for public assistance. But she cannot afford all and her daughter's basic needs. Then she is triggered by the robbery, and that got added on top of her having a stressful day where in that day nothing really went right. That's when you see a different side of Janaya, and the only people who understand her are other black women. So I must admit the movie made me cry in the last half hour of the film. And to me, I am okay with other critics complaining about Tyler Perry as a filmmaker. But as a black woman, I feel Tyler makes movies about black women struggling because black women are struggling. And I have said this in the past, Tyler knows his audience. So he will continue to succeed. Therefore, he will continue to make money. Therefore, he will always have the money to make more movies. If you don't buy the premise of this film, I get it. But when it comes to the truth is not always based on facts. It's not always based on what is true for the majority of a society. Sometimes the truth is based on an individual's perception of reality, and it's based on an individual's lived experiences. And the reason why I cried is because Janaya's story is true to me. I have met women like Janaya at the welfare office, and I have met police officers like Officer Raymond. And I have to say, we don't have enough Officer Raymonds in the police department here in New York City and in the police departments around the country. Let me make a comment about the acting. Henson, Shepard, and Taylor stood out for me by far. The rest of the cast, I thought the acting was not believable. That's just me. I wasn't buying it. But with a better script, we could have been talking about an Oscar buzz around Henson, Shepard, and Taylor because they worked very hard portraying these characters. These three actresses seem to have nothing in common with the characters in the movie. And every time they talk to each other, they pull you into the story. And they tug at your heartstrings. Nicole feels sorry for Janiyah, while other hostages at the bank are scared and resentful, and rightfully so. Nicole went from being scared of Janiyah to feeling sad for her. The character arc of Nicole is absolutely brilliant. Officer Raymond made me angry with the system. Janiyah reminded me that life can be cruel. But it was Nicole that made me cry because she is aware that Janiyah is not a criminal. She is a victim. And the reason why I am saying we could have had an Oscar buzz if the movie was better, Henson made a commitment from the start of the movie to the end to portray a woman who is having a hard time, even though on the surface she is committing a number of crimes. She is guilty of driving with an expired license. She is guilty of gun possession. She is guilty of holding people hostage at the bank. She is committing crimes, but thanks to Henson, you don't forget that she is being misunderstood. After I watched the movie, and I have to get this off my chest, I read and watched a few reviews online, and this goes back to me appreciating Tyler Perry's choice in making movies about black women struggling. Nowadays, most people get movie reviews either on YouTube or Rotten Tomatoes. And I have noticed that movie critics who have at least 500,000 subscribers, they don't critique any of Tyler Perry's movies. So when I say that Tyler's critics make valid points, I understand why Tyler Perry does not care and he focuses on doing what he wants to do. Because a lot of these critics who have at least 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, I want to know why they are not paying attention to Tyler Perry. And the reason why I bring this up is because a lot of those channels that have 500,000 subscribers, they can post a movie review anytime they want, and it will get thousands of views in a matter of minutes. So when I realized that Straw was Tyler Perry's 28th film, I don't think people realize how hard it is to be that productive. Christopher Nolan has made 11 movies. Scorsese, Coppola, and Ridley Scott have made 25 movies each. In terms of the number of output, Tyler Perry has now surpassed Scorsese, Coppola, and Scott. Spike Lee has directed 23 movies. Tyler Perry has surpassed Spike Lee in terms of output. Say what you want, but Perry deserves attention. And as I mentioned in my Black Hollywood post that I made last year, Ava DuVernay's movie Origin was ignored by most of the media. But then you have Sinners, the new movie by Ryan Coogler that everyone loves, but we had to wait 3 years for another Ryan Coogler movie. We can get frustrated with Tyler Perry's writing. I can respect that. But imagine how much a filmmaker can accomplish when you have money in the bank and a studio of your own. And to put on top of that, Tyler decides to tell stories about black women and their struggles, which is something other filmmakers are not doing. DuVernay's movie, Origin, centered around a black female character, but she did not get the attention that it deserved. The movie did not get the Oscar buzz it deserved. And let's be honest, Sinners centers around 3 men, a set of twin brothers and their cousin. And when he made Wakanda Forever, some critics thought he should have replaced Chadwick Boseman instead of making Shuri the next Black Panther. So as long as Tyler Perry makes movies about black women and their lives, I will be watching. Um, I need to support people who sees me, who sees the struggle of black women. And I really appreciate Tyler Perry paying black actors fairly. Black actresses like working with Perry because they feel they are given fair pay. Especially when an actress like Taraji P. Henson have said in the past that a lot of filmmakers in Hollywood don't want to pay her what she feels is fair. So that is all for today, my friends. This review is a long one because I had to say a lot and because Straw is a polarizing movie. But again, I want to encourage anyone who has not subscribed to this channel, hit that subscribe button below, because here I really try to focus on movies on a global scale, unlike many other critics out here. If you look at my channel, some reviews are more popular than others because I don't always watch Hollywood blockbusters. So, take care everyone, and until next time, have fun at home streaming.